it is starting to get really, really interesting up there at the top of the table. And all eyes now have to be on Team Falcons. Can they start finding a little bit more success? They still have a decent buffer. It's a what is it, a 12-point buffer on third place. But that was a lot bigger at the start of the day.
That's the thing, though. If VP continues to have this kind of high focus when they finally find Falcons, you can see how much they're cornering them.
Yeah, they're not going to slow down.
No, that's going to slow down, and that means that Falcons is going to be held a little bit. And then for third and down, Na'Vi, Twisted Minds, Vitality, now GK, now Twisted Minds, they're going to make an argument to try to chase down that second place. And obviously a great idea from Virtus Pro is to stop that second place team, but if that's all they do today and only get those 3 to 5 maybe kills every game, it's going to make everyone else catch up to Falcons.
It is getting extremely interesting here after match number 2, but before we go to match number 3, let's throw it down to Caleris. There's an interview with Geeke.
That's right, thanks boys. I'm here with Park Pro to talk about that game as well as what's been going on so far in the final. So let's start with, in fact, this win that you were just able to get. Congratulations on that. Talk to me about the decisions you had to make in this game, especially going into, I guess, some of the final moments.
네, 박프로 선수 첫 번째 질문을 일단 전판 치킨 일단 축하드리고요. 치킨 먹는 과정에서 있었던 좀 일들이나 어떤 좀 결정 과정이 있었는지 막서클에 대해서 좀 얘기를 해주시죠.
저희 팀이 일단 남쪽 출발을 하면서 이재희 선수가 잘리게 되면서 좀 출발이 늦었는데 또 송장 선수가 동쪽에 팀이 이제 적을 확률이 높다 이제 콜을 해주면서 동쪽 시작한 게 도움이 돼서 이제 치킨까지 이어지지 않았나 싶습니다. 너무 좋은 결과가 나왔네요.
Yeah, started off with South. I think we had one loss, EJ going down early, but actually Songjang made a call that we don't have many teams in East, so if we got just positioning there, then we might have a chance. And I think that call was actually very, very positive for us. So I think, yeah, in that sense, I think that call was the essential moment for us.
Yeah, definitely. It looked great. Thank you. And kind of a final question here to get things wrapped up. It seemed like coming into the finals, you guys had a bit of a harder time finding drop spots, and that has resulted in some interesting things going down. Can you talk to me about that and if it's been difficult for you throughout the games?
확실히 파이널 오시면서 좀 랜드마크를 좀 찾으시는 데 있어서 좀 되게 우여곡절이 좀 많으셨던 것 같아요. 랜마싸움도 있었고 여러 가지로 좀 처음 이제 시작하는 과정이 좀 힘들었는데 그 점을 좀 한번 얘기를 해주신다면요.
저희가 이제 아직 정해진 랜드마크가 좀 저희 팀이 이제 GK에 오고 와서 랜드마크가 아직 정해지지 않았다고 생각합니다. 근데 이제 저희가 자신 있어 하는 부분에서 처음 교전 때 랜드마크 싸움이 자신 있다. 그래서 계속 할 거다라고 알아주시면 감사하겠습니다.
Well, I'm coming into GK. I think we're not decided on the drop spots yet. So that being said, we're going to show a lot of hot spots more. So yeah, looking forward to that.
Should AGAL still be scared?
AGL을 무서워해야 될 것 같나요?
AGL이 저희를?
네.
저희는 일단 한국에서 계속 초반 싸움만 하고 있습니다. 그래서 자신 있습니다. 조심하세요.
I mean, we've been practicing all the hot spots, hot drops in Korea. So yeah, you should be feared about it.
Okay, 감사합니다. Thank you very much for joining me here. Of course, we now head on back to the studio here for more games.
Hey guys, it's Porosaurus, and we had the community decide strategies that they would use if they were put into a PUBG type situation. Well, we need to decide how good those strategies might be. So to do that, I got some help from my friend over at Team Falcons, Mr. Tiggleton.
Hello, everybody.
I'm ready to pass judgment.
Pass the judgment. All right. Strategy, Tig. You get to rank this. Tactical pack plus tons of first aid kits and an EMT. Hide and do fast heals in the blue zone until endgame.
All right, look. Honestly, this might be S tier, but life is about you have to have a code of honor. And this is just the worst of the worst. Disgusting rat strategy. Immediately E.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. No, your survival is not as important as honor, apparently,
Facts.
is what I'm understanding.
Exactly.
Golden pickaxe equipped. Left click, left click, left click, left click, left click, left click, left click.
Golden pickaxe.
I mean, yeah.
No diamond. I mean, this is not a bad one, but it depends where you are in the circle. Like, this could be good. It could also be terrible. So I think I'm going to smack it somewhere. We'll give it a C.
Give it average.
Yeah, average.
Okay.
You know,
if you know, a lot of things need to go right for that to go
exactly.
right.
A little random.
I'm just hiding until the very end. Lol. I'm playing Foe the Win.
Foe to win. I mean, if you're looking to survive, that might be the tech. I mean, at some point you gotta stop hiding. But for the win. I respect that. I like that. Okay.
All right, so not
It's
like
not
all
bad.
the way up to the bad, but not too bad. But
I've lost to people doing that.
I mean, they were playing Foe the Win, man. You got to do what you got to do. So
Yeah.
find some adrenaline pills, and then hope for a glider.
Hoping for a glider.
Just
I mean,
stay above it all.
this would be the most enjoyable way to perish. As much as I want to say that
The best way to die.
yeah.
All right. I know. Okay. Well, it's only 2 spots remaining,
please,
so
they better be good.
These better be good,
Please,
or you're
they
going to be
better
in
be
trouble. I'd be prone and not moving unless the blue zone was tickling my feet. I feel like you would rank that lower if you could.
Yeah, if I could switch these two.
Well, now you're stuck. See, now you really got to hope that this is a good one, right? All right. Dropping school and dying within 2 or 3 minutes.
I mean, it's just based. It's just based. It's alpha. Alpha.
$450,000.
Our chip leader has raised the 4.
Five kills.
Yay.
They ended up getting 13. Yeah, there you go. 13 kills
Nice.
total. This is good to see Twisted Minds wake up. And with that, if I'm not mistaken, I think that ends up pushing them to that 3rd place.
The longer the final is, the better Twisted Minds will be. That, you know, when we move to these 3-day events, they tend to do significantly better. Again, as a reminder to everyone, Lou, who just got the kill lead, got off an airplane right a few hours before we started the last day of their group. So he had time to wake up. He got into the rhythm yesterday, and that could be it. I mean, it is still a very long journey for Twisted Minds to grind up here, but they were effective and they were active. They saw the fight. I actually think Falcons saw VP, that sort of engagement in that, it put them in the kill feed, and immediately Twisted Minds went, yoink. Okay, that's how we get to the top. We look for a third party against teams that are winning, we take them down, and then we get as many as we can on the way out.
Yeah, that was beautiful. As you stated, Twisted immediately recognized that it was just one member left of VP, and they just absolutely bum rushed Lucarex until they got him down, right?
Mm-hmm.
And again, this is another game where VP, although they've gotten a few points, they did not do exceptionally well they did yesterday. I mean, we knew they weren't going to mirror that performance. 91 points in a grand final day is just ludicrous. But the fact that they are slowing down significantly, as we stated, a lot of teams have their eyes on VP, and they're not able to get going what they want to, or at least bag as many points, half as many points as they got yesterday.
Yeah, one of those was Twisted Minds. This is why I wanted to bring that one up, because of those 13 kills. But then if we look at the opposite, right? If we look at Falcons, that is in that 2nd place, that is trying to close that gap, they're not being able to close that gap because even though they were fighting VP, they ended up getting eliminated very early on before VP, and they also got less kills.
Sacrifices have to be made, right? Someone's got to be the one to go out there and do it. Someone's got to be the one that says, we're going to push them, we're going to fight them, and even if that means I lose a leg, I'm going to come hopping into the circle as far as I can. Now, that said, they did it. VP set a record in a grand final or for an event like this with that first day performance, but if one team can do it, so too could another, theoretically, right? And Twisted Minds is looking like they might be setting something up.
And that's the issue. Twisted Minds is actually very steadily gaining a healthy amount of points, and they're climbing that leaderboard. A team that, again, we said would start slow, and they have so far. And then for the other teams, Na'Vi is trying to catch up, as is Vitality. They're making it towards the mid of the end game, but they're just not getting the kills, and that's because the teams that are coming towards the end, I mean, these end games are also getting so frantic because a lot of teams don't want to overcommit, right? Because they know how important it is to get these points. So you're actually seeing a lot of passiveness from teams that you normally wouldn't see. Like Myth is one of those teams my eyes are on. They are, I mean, after the group stage, it's been pretty much silent.
I got to give Ice Tap 90 with a bold prediction that VP will lose. Just straight up. Confidence on that.
Followed by VP got this.
Elements thinks, VP's got this. So, I mean, either way.
I was clearly Twitch is up and running, so we got to know what you guys, which one do you think? It's one's for VP's got this, two if you think they let it slide.
That is a disgusting team. Well done.
They're just making up fantasy.
Agina, that's a nice team.
I mean, you even had today earlier on the Twitch chat saying, leave VP alone, man, feels bad. You just keep those comments going, and if people end up sharing anything on social media, use that hashtag EWC and hashtag EWC26. Talking about Myth, actually, that the first game today, 0 points. In this one, they were at least able to get 2 points, one of them coming from kills. We got to start seeing a pop-up performance here, either out of Kiss or somebody else from the squad. And I'm looking at something that happened with Falcons during groups. Like, they need somebody to just kickstart that team for Myth.
It makes me sad that we're saying, well, they got 2 this time, right? Because we go back to group stages where Myth was an unbearable force. If you go back to the starting sequences, they talked about other teams saying, we're the most scared of Myth. Myth could win this. We're really worried about them. And now what?
They were the number one team that everyone had their eyes on, right? And even looking at Liquid, as we just saw, Liquid also, they're really struggling in this grand finals, and it is breaking my heart. But this also just goes to show you how difficult this lobby is, how good these teams really are, and how well they've adapted to the lobby. Because we saw in groups, some of these teams were kind of getting away with a lot of things that they shouldn't have, and now they're getting full on punished.
I do, in the case of Myth and Liquid and some of those teams that are being punished, I think it's because they're going for what they need to get back in the hunt. And that is a punishing thing to do, to send yourself into fights where you're like, I wouldn't normally want to do this. I wouldn't send for this high point position, but I have to because of what VP did yesterday. My options are not what they were yesterday. My plan that I showed up at EWC with is gone. I got punched in the face. VP broke some noses yesterday, and everyone had to come up with a new plan.
Everyone has a plan until they get punched in the face.
Damn right. Damn right. And right now, those teams are trying to figure out what that plan is going to be. Luckily for them, right now, VP is not just keeping going, punching them in the face, but I know they're going to be looking to perform a lot better in this next match, as we're going to be sending it to Kalaris and Matrim.
Yes, we are. Just want to talk about the points and how things all line up here for this, as well as maybe even also the club championship as a whole. But what's great about day 2 of the finals here, Matrim, is that we have opened things up a tiny bit here with Virtus Pro at the top. Not been the easiest of times to start.
I mean, yeah, a little bit. It's down into them and Falcons. Falcons not necessarily having the best day either, so that's allowing some come-ups for squads like GK, Twisted finding some successes in this one.
Yeah.
Because when we look at everything moving into tomorrow, the Smash rules I know a lot of people are kind of confused on. Remember, it's whoever's in first at the end of the day, then plus 10 points. And you can't get the 10 points in one game and then get the victory. You have to get the 10 points, and then the game after that, whoever gets the well, if they get the chicken dinner, then they win. And then everybody else has to catch up to that point total. So if we see VP somehow mirror a little bit of what they had yesterday and they can get enough distance, it could lead to a lot of fun tomorrow.
And of course, if you cannot actually get yourself that match point and then the victory down the line, you do play out the 6 games. So we would see the 18 games all play out. I'm of the opinion it's going to be very hard to get the win after getting that 10-point threshold. What do you think?
One, people are going to start hunting VP. 2, VP gets their points mostly off of consistency, right? It's not often a chicken dinner that we see them walking away with. It's like second place and a ton of points and kills and everything else like that.
All right, well, I'm going to send it on over to the commentator team here now for yet another game to get things rolling. Day 2, we're almost at the halfway point.
Yes, indeed, sir. We are one game away from the halfway point for today, and we've got 2 games in the bag. 4 more left to play, and Virtus Pro have been hunting down Team Falcons. While that hasn't allowed them to increase their lead, it's allowed a lot of other teams to start creeping up right behind the Falcons.
Yeah, that's the problem with this amount of games that's being played. And we're going to know, after this game, once we're done, we're going to be at that halfway point for the overall tournament, and potentially, if we do play all 18 games tomorrow, as you know, once we're done, we're going to have that top team. We're going to put 10 points on top of their points. So let's say Virtus Pro end on 120 today, or 130 today. If it's 130, we're going to put it, the cutoff is going to be 140. We're going to have a minimum of 2 games tomorrow, but it could go all the way to 18. As we do have this circle, all the teams and all the players ready, we're going to be starting from the north, going all the way down to the southeast. A little bit difficult for a lot of the teams to try to get into the usual spot. Difficult to get into Jamacera, to Monte. You're going to have to steal cars or go to some of those alt drops. We know that is in play for most of the teams.
That whole western side of the map really kind of cut off. Well, so far today, Twisted Mind's been having a banger. Geek also really showing up today. 33 points in 2 games. Not too shabby for Geek as they've put themselves right back into the mix.
Absolutely. If it wasn't for a bad day yesterday, then they've been looking even better.
Yeah. I mean, look, how much of that is having to do with AGAL donating
got
a few
8
points
for that.
over? But yeah, I mean, 8. Not even. Oh no. What?
Okay.
What?
You jumped over it?
Sure, let's go with that. Luca Rux will get back into the compound, and Spiro
He's
is
laughing.
just laughing about it like, whoa, I had
He's
him.
laughing too.
I know he was dead. Well, Luca Rux, the rabbit's foot in his pocket, will manage to live this one out a little bit longer, as Spiro will get a few parting shots sent over in his direction. This is all happening just north of Los Leones. In and around Los Leones is where Virtus Pro decided to go. They've got Team Liquid over there as well. But it looks like Liquid are going to grab a vehicle and get on out of Dodge.
With a northern circle like this, though, it's going to be difficult for our teams in the south to get in there. A lot of them with this plane path here with the alt drops that's going on have already locked down space, and as we saw yesterday, Shadow Esports getting a great game, and right now they're dead center on that map. They can have another one. The team with not much expectations coming their way. Twisted Minds, and you know, when the power grid is not even inside the circle, you know it's a wild one. You know it's somewhere crazy, because power grid and Picado is dead center, and those 2 cities are out currently with a water treatment somewhat dead center circle here. It's looking good for DK to have a back-to-back game. And they are rotating straight into water treatment to try to get even more loot and lock down some of those central locations here. It's difficult though with water treatment, because you have so many high ground compounds.
Yeah.
And you have the gas station to the south, you have to the east as well. So you have to figure it out. Are we either going greedy here to lock down as much as possible, or we're going to try to keep water treatment to ourselves, or at least know when other teams are coming in. And now it's 17, of course, in Picado, they're going to have to figure out what is their way of entry, because a lot of teams have already dropped out.
Yeah, it's. I mean, water treatment is kind of that same issue that Twisted Minds had, trying to hold down
exactly the
apartments,
same,
right?
yeah.
Like, you can try, but it's just too big. At the end of the day, it's just too big, and you know that you're going to get crashed at some point and have to deal with that. So we'll see how Geek plays this one going forward, as Gam Long F getting a little bit close to Hansi here, and Hansi, he's got no idea, does he?
He's peacocking. If you hear shots, but he's peacocking, and there's no idea from Hansi that we already have Gam. And look at that, Doctor's coming in now. That might be a bait here for him to run to the direction that Hwangef is in already. He's not. Okay, Hwangef is actually running a bit after him here. As Hansi is running, he might not be able to hear his steps. Hwangef is chasing. Hansi is trying to get disengaged from this, because they already have really good locations. Now shots come in, and it's a drive-by. Hansi's down to half HP.
Oh my God, this happens that quickly. You see, I mean, you saw Hansa. He was just running around inside the warehouse, peacocking, taking shots. All of a sudden, he hears just the faintest hint of a vehicle, and he's just like, no, I got to go, and immediately runs to the car. And the second he gets away, he's just surrounded by getting shot at by GAM players. So that's how quick it can turn in lobbies like this. As we check in, Quizzy going to get taken down by Gen G. And fortunately, Gen G able to collect that point for themselves, because I know, you know, one of my favorite stats, especially when we get to these points where every point is so important, is that plus minus, right? It's kills that you steal versus kills that are stolen away from you. Right now, Gen G is -7. I have not seen a number that high. And look at where Gen G is on the leaderboard. 13th place. Before that kill, we're 31 kills. 7. You add 7 to that, they're in 9th. And the difference in money that you get from that, the difference in club championship points you get from that is so incredibly huge. So it just goes to show what a priority these guys need to be placing on securing those knocks when they get them.
And looking at Vicious here in 28 points, just 6 more points. They're jumping up into 9th from 15th, right? We're talking from $21,000 all the way up to 37. You're effectively doubling the prize pool you're taking away for this. And you have a 3-way tie on 34 points. If Liquid gets one more, it's a 4-way tie. That's just absolute insanity how our mid-pack teams are trying to chase down each other. Lou is trying to get up here, but Simon T is already waiting. It's a straight and easy kill for Simon to get down Lou here. And it's not even central location, it's not even priority location, but Simon's just ratting it, trying to get that 1 point, and it paid off. Really well played by Vicious here to have an idea that Twisted Minds often do these high ground scouting locations.
It's the absolute jump scare material there for Lou as well.
And Lou is such a big voice in the early game and mid game for Twisted Minds, so it's such a big voice to lose as well. Very unfortunate for them.
Well, Simon T gets a motorcycle delivered to him,
nice.
At least, and yeah, that's I mean, additionally tough because the likelihood of them going back for that blue chip obviously pretty small. As
no chance.
Simon will be looking and seeing where Twisted Minds goes, feeding that information over to the rest of the boys, and they'll go ahead and make their way a little bit further into circle while also avoiding Twisted. So only a couple of teams still making their way in. Team Liquid, Full Sense, all the way down to the south. AGAL coming in from the eastern side, free and clear. But 100% playable circle means that, you know, the likelihood that you see a lot of early game scrapping pretty low.
Yeah, all the teams, they know what priority they have into this circle here. If you're early, you can get that center. If you're not that early, you're going to have to get info. You're going to have to check the scraps. And the most importantly is the teams try to get in and they try to get information. If you see teams that are in 2-2 splits leaving those compounds, that might be a playable area for you. So especially from circle 2 and 3 on, that's where we really see these teams having this pre-drive towards the center where you then can react and say, okay, we see a team leaving here. Let's try to take that compound away because that compound might still be good to play. All right, VP coming in from the south side. They are inside, but they have no information about who's ahead of them. So they're going to have to drive together as a car caravan. So if anyone peeks out, they can just straight pull up or straight drive by. So crucial, especially in the Nixie Corexi car. You have a front man gunner. Look at Navi here. They're actually out. This might be a pull-up. It's a straight drive-by. Hackatar finds Nixie, actually. That's a big name to take out this early. Corexi turns around. Spiro takes Corexi, and now the other guys have to get involved in this one.
Yeah, full-on pull-up by VP with no information, as you said, about what they're pulling into. With Navi, fortunately enough, we're able to get at least one. Oh, the grenade not going to go where it needs to. This is the window by just that much, but Spiro will get taken down by Beamy in the end. So Navi will lose 2. They did call in support from the rest of the boys. They were making their way over here. We'll see if they fully commit, but yeah, now the shots are going to come in, and it looks like Navi will just play this one forward as 2.
That's 2 kills for VP. They now break in game 9, 100 points at 101. Wow. Absolute insanity here to keep that 10-point average up, considering what the 2 start of the games was today here. So And they have a 30-point lead down to second place.
Look at this.
More than 40 points here. Gen G and Vitality, though, what a fight.
Crashing right on top of this magnet compound that we've seen get so much love in the past. Falcons were in here, but they have since moved off to the west.
Did you see that sign?
I did not.
I could not see that sign. That looked funny. Was that Calaris?
It might have been.
Oh, it was Calaris. Look at that. Who is he cheering for?
Yeah, it should be.
He's joining in with the fans here. Look at that. He is. It is. I couldn't recognize him without his jacket and with the sunglasses on. Because all the lighting in here is already red and orange, so I couldn't tell it was him.
I couldn't tell it was him because I didn't see him eating fish raw and wriggling. But currently Falcons just kind of third partying Vitality. It's interesting, Vitality and Gen G actually kind of sharing this spot intentionally. Like they're laying the smokes down. They've got the throwables, but you know you don't want to just blow all of your utility right here, because you know in the late game you're going to need it, and you're most likely not going to get crashed again. So I think it's more just waiting for somebody to make a mistake, peek the wrong window, and maybe put a Panzerfaust right down their throat.
And also remember, in the group stage, like, it's very shareable. We saw Twisted Minds in the high ground there, the amount of points and kills and damage they got from that, but then inevitably when they had to push the other side of the compound, they absolutely got roasted. So is it worth it to see if, again, as you said, it's a magnet compound, if we see a circle close to it, it might be worth just sharing, just for the sheer amount of kills and points you're going to be able from placement and from the kills you're able to get. Falcons actually is pretty deep in this circle too, with Kickstart being the front point man. They are fully aware of all the teams and players that's around them. And Kick with an 8x and 3 vest. There's so much information readily available to him.
It's a little aggressive sending Kick out there. I mean, Falcons obviously have the compound just behind, but sending Kick out there to keep an eye on that Vitality Gen G situation. Will retreat now that Vicious has kind of paid attention to them, and now that the circle is going to pop again, it's going to go hard south. So pulling away from water treatment all the way. Magnet compound be damned. We're going back over towards Liquid and Na'Vi, as we'll see if GAM actually commits to pushing any closer in. It doesn't. I mean, there's no reason to. They've got this compound to themselves, right?
I mean, this is a comeback game for GAM as than anything, right? That longhouse compound where Hongef is now driving back to is actually so strong. Liquid looking good too. Twisted Minds too. Vicious is driving as Vitality is doing so much to have an impact on that. Shrimpsy actually pokes Skretrocks off the roof. Falcons also has to move, but they got quite the space southwest if they end up going in that direction. 17 Gaming in a greedy split, shooting at everyone, going through this trap that they have set up between Hacienda and the Barns.
It's a super greedy split from 17, keeping 2 inside Hacienda, and I think Falcons are starting to get a read on that because they've got to make their way in. So 17 better hope that Falcons don't figure out what's going on here, because then that would be a full 4-man crash onto one of the two ends of that split here, as Myth will try to make their way past Shadow, but Shadow sticks around, takes a few shots in parting. Myth not going to go all the way out into the blue just yet, and we'll just get out of Shadow's line of sight, and Shadow will just hop in vehicles and start to make their way in.
Again, for home turf circle for them, they're really not happy with this southern shift, Poro. And as you said, all these teams trying to rotate, trying to get in here. There's not a lot of space that's openly available to anyone. You're going to have to play the ridges on the southern side because all the compounds are completely locked down. And now here with Falcons are doing that rotate we were talking about on the southwest side. Quite the space ahead of them here. But they're going to have to drive in between the trap of Team Liquid and Full Sends that's still inside the circle that have the compound and the high ground. It's going to be difficult. We're going to have to figure out where this next circle goes. And if we do get a sudden shift, it's going to enable Full Sense and VP to have that high ground control where Liquid is shooting at everything around that compound.
Falcons doing well, just getting themselves another vehicle just in case they have to play in the open fields. And we get an idea that that compound, the south side of Hacienda, is open. We'll see if they stick around there. As Vitality is doing that long wrap back around on that western side. They could get involved here soon, but Gustav separated. Himself and the rest of the boys trying to get a read on what's going on to the south as we check in with Gen G on the north. I know they spotted out Shadow Esports, but they're going to take some blue damage while they wait to make that look. Shadow's not even looking. They're all eyes to the south.
Just straight running at them right now. Nadian hand comes out. Nade comes in. That's going to be a nade straight on to Hansi. But potentially, that's a great nade. Soul hits him perfectly. Hansi goes down. Easy flush for Soul. The Gen G is destroying the dreams of Shadow Esports. They're hoping for a great game. D finds another one. Setsuna finds Bean, though, as it's being turned around.
That is absolute timing there for Gen G. But good pickup there for Setsuna to get at least one of the Gen G guys down. And looks like Jexy and Setsuna will hop back in those vehicles, start making their way down the road, but Vicious taking shots at their front. They're going to get shot at. Yeah. Is that going to be actually E-End that takes down Setsuna? So now it's down to just Jexy, and he is sailing towards no man's land. I don't think we'll see Shadow in this lobby much longer as AGAL getting peppered by mortars. Where are they even at right now? They have Myth just on the other side, though, but the good knock will go down to Baron. So Himas not going down without a fight.
More agility being deployed here from AGL as they have to commit to this defense as Myth is trying to sneak in. Himas finds Kiss. Lolc finds the flush onto Baron, and Myth is completely falling apart.
Yeah, it's been look, they've been average at best, but considering what we saw out of Myth in the group stages, we were expecting far more than just average. As we see Nixie, they've got eyes on. Why not send a few mortars over in that direction? We'll do a little bit of damage. Oh, almost gets Scappy. But unfortunately, Scappy sees that Myth will lose Kiss as Duckmai will get those last bullets into him, and now Myth just happy feet, trying to avoid mortars coming from all directions as T1 has now crept up on their ridgeline.
Gustav finds Getrox as Vitality try to rotate in. T1 with a third party onto Myth. Jacob goes down, and now it's down to just Scabby. Can he do something? Damage has been done. Type goes in. Scabby has a shotgun, though. Doc might find Scabby through the smoke, and that is Myth out in 15th place.
The shotgun through the smoke. We'll see if they can get Type back on his feet. Yeah, don't hang around there. Immediately picks him up and repositions as last players from Gen G are pulling into the north side of that T1 split. Let's see if they can hold the line there. AGAL, Himas, and Sololzi a little bit separated, while Virtus Pro now turning their attention over towards Full Sense.
Falcons continue to find damage on both on 17 and Vitality. Soul finds Type, and T1 is under an immense amount of pressure as Gen G has pulled up in the compound that they left to try to get points out in the open. Heather now, that's some damage done, but he's behind the little side here. It blew up on the stairs, so Heather's going to be able to heal off. Raining finds Himas, and that's AGL losing a big name here as Raining gets the flush on him too.
Seeing what Heather's been able to do in solo situations. We'll keep an eye on that. As Virtus Pro going to send the grenades over the wall here towards Full Sense. Get it in return as well, but the damage just not coming through for Full Sense as Belmoth will be taken down, and Tigger is alive just by the smokes. Thanadol and Flash have to retreat back to cover, but more grenades are in the hands of Virtus Pro as they fight their way down.
5 kills now. They keep the average stacking up. Now they realize, okay, next circle pop, we might have a play here. We can either third party or pull up on something. There's 2 members left on full sense. Are they going to go for the kill for a drive-by? Lukarux finds Flash. That's an easy pull-up for them. Channel turns around, but Beamy gets him. That's full sense out by the grace of Virtus Pro. They're up to 7 kills.
And they're getting peppered from range now by Falcons. Actually going to finish off Lukarux through the smokes. Falcons just outside of zone right now. They know they have to deal with T1. AGAL does get eliminated in the end as Virtus Pro continue to reset. We see that helicopter coming through. That was an E pickup popped by Geeke, but ain't no way they're taking that, right? They still have to find a way inside the zone, however, from the north, as Falcons will get a little bit closer now to Team Liquid's compound. You see Cowboy on the mortar.
Cowboy, it's going to go for a defense here. 170 meters here. That could be a little bit too far, in my opinion, here. As they're only about 120, 130 meters away. He's going to go in lower. Okay, okay, now he's going down. 130 could be around where they are for the further shots, but let's see if Falcon is ready for this impact here.
Falcons keeping eyes on the skies, but they're getting shot at from range by 17 as well, so they have to keep the happy feet on. Mortar's going to fly just a little bit too far, so no danger from those for the time being. Meanwhile, Virtus Pro going to send it right into Navi, and Navi is ready. Ferris gets 2 with a well-placed grenade, well-timed grenade. Beamy now the last player left alive for VP as he is down to half HP. Another couple of rounds coming in his way, and he will go down, but job done for Virtus Pro as they have now 7 kills, sitting on 106 points. Here comes the push from Falcons.
Yeah, utilities being deployed now from Falcons here. Blue zones. Luke has to heal, and now Nate's coming in to follow up here. That went out. It hit the other side. So unfortunate. Now defensive utilities being deployed here as well. The circle is still on top of the compound here, so they have plenty of time to fight here. You have to have the really well-placed utility to try to get those knocks.
Damage coming through on the Liquid, but no knocks for Falcons. But they at least open the door. They're able to get in closer. Flashbang from Alo. Going to go and try to turn the corner, but Shrimzy's waiting for it. He gets the knock. He gets the flush immediately following. So Alo maybe a little bit ambitious on that flashbang peak. The rest of Falcons will reset, have to remove themselves here off of that blue zone, but the grenade will take down Purdy Curdy. Now Team Liquid falling apart.
Great utility here, though, from Team Liquid. Now Twisted Minds is sneaking ever closer.
Yeah, they're getting here.
There are 4 kills now for them, and they get close to placement points too. T1 being out, that's 1 placement point for the top 8 given to everyone left alive. And now utilities being deployed from Twisted Minds. They know that Falcons is that next team to try to chase, as they are in 3rd place. Just 16 points behind currently. It is doable. Example finds Gustav. He drops a nade. That could be it's an immediate flush on him and does some damage to kickstart too. The point man with the Groza and 3 gear.
Super unfortunate timing there for Falcons as Luke 12 will go down. Drop shot and flush. Cowboy will try to return the favor. Gets Shrimzy, but Kickstarter is going to push with that Groza and will finish off Team Liquid as Chan will take down 2 members of Geeke. The mortar is coming alive once again.
And with the chase being now in play, the equal amount of kills for both VP and Falcons this game, but 1 more placement point. And this is the game where they can try to catch up. Now Navi try to defend from the push from Twisted Minds, but Ulin goes down. And those teams are also always fighting. 15 points difference from 4th place to 3rd between Navi and Twisted. Dr. Stott find Equa here.
Love that. Falcons trying to keep pace with Virtus Pro, but also create separation for themselves from the teams in the chase right on their backs. We see more mortars being sent over towards Geeke. They were able to reset off of that first double knock, but EJ now down once again. Looks like they should be able to get him back on his feet, and they will. But they are still on that northern side of the zone. Absolutely no cover. Just hiding in the fields for now as 17 has found their way in. Vicious in a great position. Gam still in good position, but they are going to have to move here eventually.
Example still alive. I don't think Falcons is aware of his off angle. So unexpected. Nate being used here. That could get close to Shrimzy. Bounces right. Does a little bit of damage. 25. Wenball finds him though. 17 Gaming gets Twisted Minds out in 7th place. We have 6 teams left now, and placement points start stacking up. Whoa, what a great headshot from Shrimzy.
Shrimzy just shredding them from range. And now they'll continue to make their way. They're actually going to make their way over towards the GAM side. So Tiggleton will get at least a foothold while Shrimzy is just making that mini do work right now. Almost 600 damage for himself so far. They'll hop back into the Bronco and go rejoin his teammates. While GAM, you see what they're dealing with. They send Tanvu on the other side of the road, and that might be actually what keeps them in this. That's going to keep Falcons pressured here.
And you know why this is smart? Because they don't want to go to Na'Vi to potentially give them points. GAM is not a team that they're directly competing against on that leaderboard. So I get the idea that they don't want to try and pull up onto Na'Vi. They have the information that but GAM has been here the entire time. They have all the utility they need to put pressure onto Falcons. Shrimzy goes down, and now blue zones and more grenades are being absolutely sent in the direction of Falcons.
Shrimzy gets knocked by the first one, but the rest of the barrage not able to take him down as you see that blue zone grenade ticking. Clory's getting a little bit more aggressive, keeping eyes over them as mortars continue to fall on Geekay. They've somehow been able to survive in this wide open field whilst getting mortared. Another grenade will provide the next point of call for them to go to. Shrimzy back on his feet. GAM, the utility not going to be enough to take down the Falcons.
They have now survived the barrage, and now there is so much cover to be able to be played. 17 now. They turn their direction towards Vicious, and Tycon finds a nade and a knock with the FAMAS.
Just beautifully executed by Vicious, but the grenades in return will take down takes down Tycon very low as well. Lil Ghost now the last player left alive for 17. Shrimzy and the rest of the Falcons boys turn their attention over towards GK. GAM has retreated to their compound. Falcons get to stay inside this little ridgeline that they've created for themselves, but GAM have to leave.
Yeah, GAM still has some cars. They want to get it in on one of the safer spots inside this compound here. Clara is considering, do we go deeper now? Do we try to take the ridge on the other side where Tanwu is already set up? 17 Gaming's out in 6th place here. One more placement point for the remaining teams left alive. GAM still on 0 kills.
Unbelievable that Falcons have been able to keep 3 alive this long. GK even more unbelievable as they're asked once again to do the impossible and make the run across that wide open field. And Vicious back up to 3 strong. They are just staring over in that direction. The FAMAS will sing out, take down Akan. They'll secure their 10th kill as they continue to climb up the leaderboard. They are now in 9th.
Prime Tycon is back. Simon T, though, he does get the final shots. Cloris finds Songjang, but both GAM, Vicious, and GK is having so many fights across each other. And the benefactors are Na'Vi and Falcons. They managed to survive for 1 more point. Top 4. 4 teams left alive. GAM is 1 man down, and now utilities being deployed towards Falcons. Next circle about to pop here, Poro.
Look at Vicious just rocketing up the leaderboard. Now up into 8th after finishing off GK. Falcons,
13 kills.
13 kills and still 3 alive. They now have to leave their garage, though, and that is just nothing but wide open field. A little bit of roadside and a very small portion of Navi's compound still in. Boostic and Ferris can keep looking in that direction as Long F will try to take out Falcon's vehicle. That might actually provide them a little cover more than anything here.
That was definitely the play that Falcons went for, to deploy a little bit of playable space, but it's going to be difficult. Both teams have to leave. Everyone, I think the last team, though, of GAM, or the last players, is Tanvu. They're in a pretty decent spot where Cloris is to shoot at Falcons. The question is, do they go for a deny here once Kickstart has been knocked with a Molotov? Is it even worth to try to send it in? Because it could be teams that you're directly competing against later on here, as Na'Vi could also maybe get some of the kills where Falcons is trying to deny the chase. 83 points, 22 points ahead of Twisted Minds.
Just keeping themselves separated from the rest of the pack right now while also doing their best to try to do the impossible and catch up to Virtus Pro. Tiggleton, the last player left alive. He's got some hard cover. He's got the deployable shield, but GAM is 4 strong. They've managed to get the revive onto their knock player, but you see the damage coming through here for Tig. He's causing problems. The only problem for him is that he's not inside the zone right now, so we'll spray through the smoke, does some damage, not going to get the knock.
They're aggressively pushing this one. Tanwu fighting on multiple sides. Wanget finding kickstart flush here. That's important. Ferris finds Simon T. Na'Vi gets involved too, and they do have 2 members left alive. Clarice gets Vicious down to just 1 man standing as Tiggleton gets some shots towards Doc Juice, but he does go down to the blue zone here. A point denied towards Na'Vi and Gam.
All right, Gam managed to keep all 4 alive, get them across the road. Tycon has the Alm and a little bit of cover.
And a Famus.
That's dangerous stuff here. But Na'Vi, look at that. Boostic and Ferris up until the very end. Tycon will get the knock not get the flush on the Tanvu just yet, as he's down to about half HP. We'll see if Na'Vi can make the run, separate themselves a little bit more from Twisted Minds, from Geek and Vitality, as they have had a good game to start off here. Tycon will go down in the end, but Tanvu not going to be rezzed. Gam now in a 3v2 versus Na'Vi.
And Na'Vi has been out and aggressive on towards this one here. Docus disengage here with the fight. Shots come in and Ferris connects with the handball. An insane headshot. This is now the possibility for Na'Vi to potentially win the game. It's effectively a 2v2. Shot come in and connects. 3 Vestas. Get him a little bit low here, 44 HP. And they're under a lot of pressure. And the utility is being deployed. A fantastic nade from Boostic.
Beautiful grenade from Boostic, and Clory's now the last player left alive for Gam, as Na'Vi stepping up in the end game here. They've got 3 kills, looking to make it 4 and a victory. Clory's looking to do the impossible. It's not going to happen. Na'Vi get the victory.
And what a game. They lost 2 of their star players to Virtus Pro in that compound, and they're able to win this one here. They denied the VP pull-up. They ended up fighting each other later in the game. What a way for them to defend, to hold strong. With just 2 members remaining, Na'Vi is able to push through and try to chase down Falcons and hold on to that 3rd place they're able to get in this one.
Saw a little crack in the calmness there from Na'Vi, as at the end there they definitely exhaled and felt good about getting the victory. That was very, very close. What a tough game for Na'Vi that time around, but they managed to pull it out in the end.
But Falcons defend. They hold on to 2nd place. They get kills. They get placement. And as we see here, what just happened. Harris with an insane shot. Having that last nade is just insane. Removes the shield, get the flush, get the knock. And it leaves Cloris to be the last man standing on. And even though you have MVP status from an PGC for 2 years ago, it is not enough to hold up against Na'Vi.
Sighs of relief for sure, but I mean, the story of the finals so far is still Virtus Pro. They still continue to separate themselves. Team Falcons doing everything they can to keep pace and keep themselves separated from the rest of the pack. But that is going to do it for the first 3. We've got 3 more left to go. So guys, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Play is in our DNA. Whenever we let it out, it becomes our superpower. Now imagine an entire city being built to supercharge it. Kadir City, powered by Play.
It's the final day of competition here for TFT, which of course means we had to check in with Trab for a bit of a CC update, because at the end of it all, we're going to have a winner.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's AGL versus Aurora Gaming at the moment. AGL sitting quite high up that leaderboard. They did just get overtaken, though, however, by Team Vision, who managed to get all the way to the grand final. So they've overtaken them by 100 points. They're trying to get their own back at the moment, but facing some fairly heavy competition, to be fair, from Aurora Gaming.
This is going to be big for the CC standings, because AGAL are one of those teams who need a win in order to be eligible to claim the trophy.
Yeah, it's going to be a real tough one for them, to be honest with you. They've kind of been back and forward, fighting out. They've had a tough run through the groups, tough run through the playoffs, so they're persevering at the moment.
Which means you're all going to need to stick around if you want to see how all this plays out, because it's going to be an important one. We'll check back in later.
Hey, Lutti here. I'm with Halo from Team Liquid, and I have some questions now. We are halfway through to the finals. So first question is like, it looks like your teams, you have some points with the kills, your micro look good, but every time you're dying a little bit early to the zone. Do you think there is a little bit of macro problem here, or do you think that you just don't have any good cycle for now?
I'd say we are getting pretty unlucky on zones, and we're also not playing too well, but we are still putting up kill points, and well, eventually we'll have our game where we are getting the shifts, and we'll be able to catch up, hopefully.
So basically, this is like half through. Of course, there is points everywhere. Everybody's like thinking about what VP did yesterday and stuff, but how you feel, and what about the energy of the teams? Because you have to, to getting back to it, it's just a halfway through. How do you feel?
It's pretty demotivating having a bad day one, of course, but the only thing we can do is focus on climbing the leaderboard. We can only look up. So we take one game at a time, and we're hoping for the best each game, basically like that, Trying to be positive and friendly, not being negative.
Is that any pressure representing America, because there is not a lot of team representing NA right now, or you're not thinking about it?
I'm not thinking about that. It's more pressure for wanting to do well for my friends, my family, people who support us and stuff like that, but yeah.
I mean, good luck. You can still make it, actually. There's a lot of game going through, so yeah, thank you for the interview, and good luck for the next games.
If Team Liquid wants to catch up, they're going to have to start doing a lot more, because right now they're 72 points away from first place. As if we do end up playing the 6 matches tomorrow, this is the halfway point of the finals, but we don't know if that's going to be the case, because we do have Smash Rule at play. This last match, honestly, I want to talk about the Sony story of the day, which is none other than BP just doing what they need to do to continue on this gap. At the beginning of the day, they had a 28-point lead to Falcons. Right now, after 3 matches, the lead is at 23 points. Yes, Falcons has been able to close that lead, but after 3 games, not that much, to be completely honest.
The problem is, again, we said it in the last week. VP just continues to find points where realistically they shouldn't, right, Steve? And that's what's making them so strong. But yes, Falcons have narrowed it down by 3 points.
Yeah, okay, 5 technically.
Sorry, 5,
right? But if let's say you did that on every 3 games, you narrowed it by 5. They continued their gain of something in the ballpark of, I think, 3 per game. It would actually at some point sort of cross that middle line. The problem is VP can choose at any point to just go, all right, well, we're going to start hunting Falcons, right? And if they do that, Falcons become endangered. So their saving grace for Falcons, if they want to make this pursuit happen, is not just closing the gap on VP, it's also having Na'Vi and Twisted Minds continuing to grab points, because there needs to be at least 3 threats going into tomorrow if they want to control VP's ability to manage the Smash Rule set. And I think that's super important. Now, I want to touch on something that happened in that game, because the entire lobby trusted the world champions, Full Sense Gaming, to hold VP out. They were outside the circle. They were on a low ground. Full Sense had the spot inside the circle, and they got straight up wiped by Virtus Pro. Rolled over. And the entire lobby sighed in one voice, because they needed that moment.
And they ended up giving VP even more points. Full Sense there with the big old donut. And I mean, to be honest, it wasn't just this match. If we ended up looking at the overall, that squad is currently all the way towards the bottom. Now, also the reason why I wanted to bring up Falcons, wanting to close that gap, because at this point, especially this match, I feel like it's a perfect example. Falcons had a great game, but then after the match, if they go and see what VP was able to do, VP still had a great game as well. So Godspeed. When you're a player in this situation, what is the mentality like? Are you now starting to get a little bit diminished?
I mean, you just have to focus on yourself, right? That's really the only thing that you can do when you're in a situation like that and you're doing really well, but your opponent who's ahead of you is also doing well. It's hard to just target another team, right? Especially VP, who's pretty much wherever they want to be right now. So you just have to just focus on your own game and hope that it's enough.
To me, the thing that makes a pro is how they handle the cons. Those bad moments, the tough situations, the bad mental, bouncing back and keeping the grind going forward. And that's what Falcons have. They've got Gunnar in the back room, and he's telling them, guys, yeah, it's 5 points, but that's 5 that we didn't have yesterday. That's 5 we're going to get in the next 3, and we're going to keep on chasing.
And I can tell you, the mental of the Falcons, even though they joke around, they meme around a bit, those guys have ironclad mentals. They've been here before. They've been in these positions. They've been playing competitively at the highest level for years now. And so, they're going to figure it out. But I will say a team that also has been really impressing me with the mental is Vicious Esports, and they are just going at it. Then also, I will say, GK the confidence.
Yeah.
Hey, we'll hot drop anybody. You want to come for us? Come on down, boys. We got more than enough for you.
Yeah, I think Geek is out to put some regional dominance on the board and say, hey, you got to respect us when we go back in a few weeks to start up those new series again. Falcons has looked good, but yeah, Vicious has moved 7 positions today. And that is something we talked about at the start of the day. It is so compact because of the amount of mopping that we saw VP do yesterday that middle pack is fighting for club points, as we saw, but also a massive change in their prize pool. And that's what you want. You want to make sure that you are getting as much as you possibly can. And at EWC, the biggest club event in the world in history, to be honest, you want to take every moment to represent your brand well. And that's why we saw that interview with Alo, or as Ludi says, Alo is beautiful.
Alo. Very beautiful.
He was still positive. They're keeping the mindset ground because if you're wearing that brand, if you're wearing the team that says we believe in you as a club, you've got to represent, you got to work as hard as you can for them the whole time.
I will say that one stat that also is incredibly telling and not the best way. We saw that I believe Soul has 24 knocks, 19 kills. He is on the leaderboard, and Genji currently only has 37 points. I was speaking about this with James in the back. That means that he literally accounts for half of their points.
Yeah, and when you're looking at this overall right now, you have GK now. I mean, with the performance that we've been seeing out of them, those hot drops, winning them, and then also putting up great matches as they were able to win the second match of the day today. They've been able to jump up all the way up to 5th place. By the way, you were talking about that money, 5th place, 100K.
Yeah,
they're going to be quite happy about that.
You're right. So that's also, we're going to start to see that as we get towards the back end of this. Teams that are starting to shore up and say, I got to make top 5, right? Like maybe my race isn't going to be a top 3 or a top 2, but I'm going to lock in that $100,000. You want to make sure you're in that race for 3 so you don't have to worry about it.
I mean, that's why EWC is my personal favorite event of the year, because not only do you have the implications of just you're not placing first, you can still get 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th still paying out, but you also have the clubs to worry about, right? Who you're representing, who's here in the other games around EWC, and that is what makes this event so sick, because you not only have them competing for their game, but other games as well.
Now, I want to talk about AJL for a second, because we saw Glitter sort of talking at the start of this about that Club Cup, and they need some points, they need to get a win. What really has to happen is they're in 13th, and they need to push up to 8th as soon as they possibly can. The good news for them, though, is it's still so compact in that group up to 5. They only need to pick up 15 to 20 points to move themselves into that top 8 position, which, again, that's sort of a success scenario for a lot of these clubs. So AGAL does still have a shot at doing what their club needs them to do, but not doing what we expected them to do.
And a lot of these teams, you guys just mentioned it too, it's so compact there towards the middle. There's a lot of money at stake. People that were talking about money last time, it was none other than Barney and Luti.
Hey, Barney, I have to tell you something.
What's happened?
Yeah, do you remember what I told about the zoo idea I have?
Ah, yes, the pigeons.
Yeah, I figured out it's really hard to catch, actually.
Yeah, Luti, they can fly.
Yeah, that's why. So I have a new idea now. It's a better one.
Oh, God. Okay, what is it?
I got it from Virtus Pro yesterday. They gave me the idea.
Okay, this is going to be good.
Yes, it is. Chicken this time. Chickens.
What?
Yeah, but everybody's speaking about chicken dinner, so I figured out I need to get one. And I get one now.
Oh, my, okay. Speaking of chicken dinners, so far today, Twisted Minds have got one. GK Esports have one as well. And, of course, Na'Vi with the most recent one. Okay. So, we've got 3 more maps to go, and it's still going to get spicy, isn't it?
Yeah, indeed. But I mean, I love the chicken.
Yeah, I know. Zut alors. Casters, c'est à vous.
Do you think I can eat it? Oh, you speak French, buddy. You speak French now. You're Français. He's French.
All right, so much going into these last 3 games. Most notably, it's about setting the pace on looking into moving into Smash Rules tomorrow. But as you heard in that last game, it was an explosive crowd.
बंदा उधर मारेंगे बंदा लो कर दिया 2-3 गोली
भाग रहे
दो है
ये बॉट है
पे गन आजा हाथ में भाई
रुक क्या होते हैं भाई बंदा है तो मारना ही है फटफट चल ले
दिला दिया ठीक है
चल 5 ही किलो हुए।
हाँ बैठ।
पहला गेम चढ़ कितने किल मारने?